than the sustainable development of our communities, of our nations, of our continent and the world.
Congratulations to me. I have won a lot of waiting and give you first. For food stuff. Thank you.
Than the sustainable development of our communities, of our nations, of our continent and the world.
Congratulations to me. I have won a lot of waiting and give you first. For food stuff. Thank you.
Than the sustainable development of our communities, of our nations.
Have dreams, a strong desire for the kind of change that we want to see in Africa. But are you ready or willing to be that change and make that?
Starting from this year, we don't want International Youth Day to just be about conversations or convenings. We want it to be about action. Hello world, and welcome to the Youth Day of Service, where young people are being youthful and useful. The whole idea of starting from this year, we don't want International Youth Day to just be about young conversations or convenings. We want it to be about action. These numbers, these energies should be channeled towards something welcome to the Youth Day of Service, where young people are being youthful and useful. The whole idea of starting from this year, we don't want International Youth Day to just be about young conversations or convenings. We want it to be about action.
Tomorrow around the world. The theme is youth engagement for global action.
Youths are expected to help with community service and bring social change over the campaign.
More than Nigeria, more than Lagos, you can see another beautiful outreach day. Volunteers are coming in, they're registering in. For an outreach day, full time, a lovely time at the more than Nigeria, more than Lagos, you can see another beautiful outreach day. Volunteers are coming in, they're registering in. For an outreach day, full time, a lovely time at
I've never painted before in my life, but it was really nice to work with the painters and do something good for the students. I can just imagine the look on their faces when they come out to their classrooms, nicely painted. I mean, the joy that it will bring and all that. I really think that was very nice. For young, it's really elegant. For young people to see that they can do something in their community.
Collaborative effort of many youth development organizations coming together and rallying the young people in their own constituency and in their own jurisdiction to champion change wherever they are. We can do significantly much more.
In commemoration of the International Youth Day of Service, we decided to come here as Dot Media House team, to help keep Computer Village clean. So we donated a few trash cans, in order to show the people who sell things here, why the need for them to stop littering the floor, so that they can always drop their trash into the bin. Youth Day of Service, which is an initiative of Leap Africa, we believe is actually a very good initiative, and this is why we're in support, and we decided to come and show our support for the International Youth Day of Service, with doing this act of service by picking the litters on the floor, showing the people of Fontainebleau Village that when they are done taking a drink or food, they shouldn't throw the trash on the floor.
Mama Money Foundation is one project where youths are engaged in giving out food relief items to low-income earners who are women. These youths express how they are agents of change in the country.
As a youth, I feel this is actually the only time you have to volunteer. If you can't do such now, then there's really no time for you to do it. They should make sure they do good to others, seek for how they can help others, volunteer, join several foundations. You could search online for anyone close to you, join them and go out to help, because there are several people that really need help.
The importance of Youth Day of Service was emphasized.
Our tagline or our hashtag, if you look at the back of my t-shirt, is youthful and useful. And essentially it's just saying, young people, quit making excuses and get on board.
As youth, we need to take up initiative to make our nation better. So we don't need to wait for our leaders, that's the government. So if you notice there's anything that is not working in your community, you just need to stand up and utilize the little resources you have and make a change.
Beneficiaries of this initiative, we're thankful to youth for remembering them in time of need.
I'm very happy. And I think there's nothing more positive and nothing more important than the sustainable development of our communities, of our nations, of our continent and the world.
Congratulations to me. I have won a lot of waiting and give you first. For food stuff. Thank you. God bless Anna. And you know go cash on our Anna should have said go see paper. Amen.
We all have dreams or strong desires for the kind of change that we want to see in Africa. But are you ready or willing to be that change and make that change? When you think about a better Africa, what do you see?
Improved standard of living for every family and individual.
That young girl, free, safe, and dreaming big.
African children have access to free and quality education.
Everyone accessing quality and affordable healthcare at all levels.
Africans working and living freely in their community. Thriving agriculture, healthy nutrition, and food security for all.
Prosperous economy enabling the rise of sustainable businesses. Youth voices, leading policy dialogues and influencing public decisions, the liberty to
lead. Progressively, each of us can make a difference, collectively leading efforts to create significant change across the world. That change begins with simple steps. Join the Youth Day of Service by registering a project or volunteering for a project on our YDOS website at www.youdayofservice.org.
Remember that the happiest people are not those getting more, but those giving more. Jackson Brown
I really think that it's very important for young people to get involved, for young people to see that they can do something in their community.
Development organizations coming together and running young people in their own constituency and in their own jurisdiction to champion change wherever we are. We can do significantly much more. In combination with the National Youth Day of Service, we decided to come here as Dot Media House team to help keep computer village clean. So we came, we donated a few trash cans in order to show the people who sell things here why the need for them to stop littering the floor so that they can always drop their trash into the bin. Youth Day of Service, which is an initiative of that's what we're going to do, initiative and display of support and we decided to come and show support for the
Starting from this year, we don't want International Youth Day to just be about conversations or convenings. We want it to be about action. Hello world, and welcome to the Youth Day of Service, where young people are being youthful and useful. The whole idea of this is that on our continent we have young people full of energy, full of creativity, and we feel like these numbers, these energies should be channeled towards something positive.
Now, Leap Africa, one of Nigeria's leading non-profit organizations for youth development, has announced a new campaign to celebrate the International Day on August the 12th.
International Youth Day will be commemorated tomorrow around the world. The theme is youth engagement for global action.
Youths are expected to help in community service and bring social change globally.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Lagos. As you can see, it's another beautiful outreach day. Volunteers are coming in. They're registering in. Set for an outreach today. It's going to be a wonderful time. It's going to be a lovely time at the community of Amokopo.
Person will give me this food, God will bless her. Anywhere where you put hand, God will bless her. High five. I thank you very much.
I'd never painted before in my life, but it was really nice to work with the painters and do something good for the students. I can just imagine the look on their faces when they come and see their classrooms nicely painted. I mean, the joy that it will bring and all that. I really think that this is very important for young people to get involved, for young people to see that they can do something in their community.
This effort this year is a collaborative effort of many youth development organizations coming together and rallying the young people in their own constituency and in their own jurisdiction to champion change wherever they are. We can do significantly much more.
In commemoration of the International Youth Day of Service, we decided to come here as Dot Media House team, to help keep Computer Village clean. So we donated a few trash cans, in order to show the people who sell things here, why the need for them to stop littering the floor, so that they can always drop their trash into the bin. Youth Day of Service, which is an initiative of Leap Africa, we believe it's actually a very good initiative, and this is why we're in support, and we decided to come and show our support for the International Youth Day of Service, with doing this act of service by picking the litters on the floor, showing the people of Computer Village that when they are done taking a drink or food, they shouldn't throw the trash on the floor.
Mama Money Foundation is one project where youths are engaged in giving out food relief items to low-income earners who are women. These youths express how they are agents of change in the country.
As a youth, I feel this is actually the only time you have to volunteer. If you can't do such now, then there's really no time for you to do it. They should make sure they do good to others, seek for how they can help others, volunteer, join several foundations. You could search online for anyone close to you, join them and go out to help, because there are several people that really need help.
The importance of Youth Day of Service was emphasized.
Our tagline or hashtag, if you look at the back of my t-shirt, is youthful and useful. And essentially it's just saying, young people, quit making excuses and get on board.
As youth, we need to take up initiative to make our nation better. So we don't need to wait for our leaders, that's the government. So if you notice there's anything that is not working in your community, you just need to stand up and utilize the little resources you have and make a change.
Beneficiaries of this initiative, we're thankful to youth for remembering them in time of need.
very happy.
And I think there's nothing more positive and nothing more important than the sustainable development of our communities, of our nations, of our continent and the world.
Congratulations to me. I have won a lot of waiting and give you first. For good stuff. Thank you. God bless Honor. And you no go catch Honor. Honor should have said go see paper. Amen.
We all have dreams or strong desires for the kind of change that we want to see in Africa. But are you ready or willing to be that change and make that change? When you think about a better Africa, what do you see?
Improved standard of living for every family and individual.
That young girl, free, safe, and dreaming big.
African children have access to free and quality education.
Everyone accessing quality and affordable healthcare at all levels.
Africans working and living freely in their communities. Thriving agriculture, healthy nutrition, and food security for all.
Prosperous economy enabling the rise of sustainable businesses, youth voices, leading policy dialogues, and influencing public decisions, the liberty to lead.
Progressively, each of us can make a difference, collectively leading efforts to create significant change across the world. That change begins with simple steps. Join the Youth Day of Service by registering a project or volunteering for a project on our YDOS websites at www.youdayofservice.org.
Remember that the happiest people are not those getting more, but those giving more. Jackson Brown Jr.
Welcome, Change Agents.
Welcome, Change Agents.
We are excited you are volunteering for the Youth Day of Service this year.
Imagine what the world would be like if we were all committed to making the lives of others within and outside our local communities better and safer. If we were all driven by our service to humanity, our schools, our public hospitals, our nation, and Africa, the list is endless.
You're probably wondering, how can I make a difference in the life of others? With less than a decade to the actualization of the SDGs and its mantra of leaving no one behind, the role of young people in achieving these goals have become even more important, and Africa is fortunate to have a youthful population.
This year, YDOS is Pan-African, and we are thrilled to invite you to join over 5,000 volunteers in implementing 1,000 projects across 20 African countries or more, with the aim of impacting over 100,000 beneficiaries.
To volunteer for YDOS, you can choose to register a project or join an existing project within your location by simply clicking on the registration tab. In case you're unable to successfully register a project of your choice, there is still so much you can do by signing up for any other project on your location or virtually.
At the end of the day, it is not about what you have or even what you've accomplished. It is about who you've lifted up, who you've made better. It's about what you've given back. Denzel Washington.
So we are counting on all young and vibrant Africans to join us in moving Africa forward by championing social change and community development.
My name is Yamola.
My name is Ibukar.
And we are
Youthful
and Useful.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing this morning? Whose faces don't look fine though. All right, my name is Yolanda Patira. I'm the programs manager. My name is Yolanda Patira, programs manager, Youth Africa. So delighted to have you all here. The Youth Day of Service 2021 press conference. I'm glad that we have our dear media partners around. Thank you so much for your presence this morning. and also to recognize all our resource partners, our implementing partners, our industry partners who are joining us physically here today and also virtually online. I know we have some people who have joined us this morning. So thank you all for your presence. Looking forward to our deliberations, looking forward to our partnership to amplify the voices of young people as change agents towards actualizing the SDGs. Thank you. All right, to go further, I'd like to invite some of our partners to the table where we'll be having some discussions around our theme for the Youth Day of Service. First of all, I'd like to recognize Favor Dada, Communications Manager, Lagos Food Bank. Favor, if you're here, please can you come forward to the table? Thank you. Welcome, Favor. Next, I'd like to invite up Olaife Ilori from the Nigerian Network of NGOs. Olaife, I know you're here. Please come forward. Thank you for joining us this morning. Next, and this person is virtual, and we're going to get a message. We also have as one of our key partners for Youth Day of Service 2021, the Africa Union Youth Division. And I'd like to recognize Simotuo Zenago. She's online joining us today, and we're going to get an address from her as well. So welcome, Simotuo. I'm sure you can see me right now. All right. So next, I'd like to invite Olamide Chopin, Communications Manager, Donors for Africa. Olamide, if you're here, please join us forward. And last but not the least, I'd like to invite Femi Taiwo, Executive Director, Lead Africa, up to the table. Welcome, Femi. All right. Thank you all so much for joining us. If any of our other invited guests join us, I'll be sure to let them join us on the table. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Good morning. A pleasure to have everyone here today. Thank you, everyone, joining virtually and physically. My name is Femi Taiwo, and we're excited to have you here. I'm privileged to serve as the Executive Director of Leap Africa, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this event. The Youth Day of Service for us is an annual social impact campaign that Leap has initiated to celebrate everything young people represent. The voice, the creativity, the energy, and the agency of young people to bring about change to their community and to the world around them. We figured 2 years ago that while the whole world celebrates International Youth Day through different kinds of means, convenings, all manner of conversations, we felt the International Youth Day should celebrate the energy and the possibility that youth represents to bring in to driving the sustainable development in Africa. And that's what we piloted last year in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, and what we are scaling up this year, not just in Nigeria, but across multiple African countries and the entire continent of Africa, as it were. Last year, during the maiden edition, we had over 81 projects implemented by over 1,000 volunteers across 23 states in Nigeria. Like I said earlier, last year was Nigerian focused. Right now, we went live publicly some weeks back, and we already have close to 2,000 plus volunteers registered for this year, and over 245 projects already registered in more than 14 African countries. The plan is to, the goal for us this year is to get over 1,000 projects executed by a minimum of 5,000 young people across multiple countries in Africa. And of course, this is going to be possible only because of a network of youth-focused and youth-led organizations across the continent who are partnering with us to push the message to young people in their constituents. And I have some of our representatives and our partners here on the table with me, and of course, on the virtual Zoom link. So we're excited to have you here to share more about the Youth Day of Service. We believe strongly that with just less than a decade to 2030, the year that the whole world has set as a time to help achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. We believe that we need all heads, all hands, all hearts, if we're going to achieve and do so much more within this decade of action. And we know, like everyone also alludes to, that if we're going to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals and even achieve the sustainable development of Africa, we need to deploy Africa's greatest resource, which is our youth, to champion not just projects like we're doing in the Youth Day of Service, but to champion change consistently and sustainably, and engage very, very actively, as social change leaders, engage actively as active citizens, and engage as responsible citizens in their respective walk of life. Together with my colleagues and partners and the volunteers, I ask you to join us on this journey of raising a new set of actively engaged youth and organizations who will not just speak for change, but also collectively, innovate and put their hands together to solve problems in their community. That's what the Youth Day of Service is all about. And my colleagues later today will be sharing more about what the Youth Day of Service, YDS, stands for us, and what it really, really entails for us. We're counting on everyone in this room to use your network, your platforms, to help elevate this conversation and join us to positively advocate for collective action towards the SDGs. Thank you so much for taking time to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Femi Taiwo, for the welcome address. So now we're going to have an in-depth presentation about Youth Day of Service. So we've heard Femi talk about the progress that we did last year and all the work that we've done this year to amplify youth voices towards the SDGs. So I'm going to invite my colleague, Kendi up, and she's going to just walk us through what exactly is Youth Day of Service. What are we aiming to achieve by bringing all of you here today, by bringing our partners on board? What do we want to achieve with Youth Day of Service? Kendi.
Thank you very much, Ewande, and a very good morning to every one of you joining us live from Lagos, Nigeria, and from anywhere else in the world you are tuning to us from. My name is Kendi Aini. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of LEAP Africa, and I'm pleased to speak more about the Youth Day of Service. We are really happy to have you on board, which means that you sort of have an idea of the entire plan and agenda regarding the Youth Day of Service. The Youth Day of Service is an initiative bigger than LEAP Africa, the organization that has conceived a Pan-African project, a Pan-African campaign to increase the engagement of young people across the world, particularly in Africa. And so this initiative started last year, 2020, for the very first time in a COVID year, in a pandemic era. And this threw a lot of ideas as young people to innovate beyond what we can really see. So in the heat of the pandemic, we saw how people galvanized together and linked hands to do so much more. And this is a bigger extension of the hands and heart that have been linked together. And so we were challenged last year to do this Youth Day of Service in Nigeria, but with the 2021 agenda, we went outside of Nigeria to collaborate with organizations and young people outside of Nigeria into Africa. And so this year, we have partners from Nigeria, partners from South Africa, partners from East Africa, and so many other people who have linked us with us from North and East and South of Africa. But the crux of the matter when we talk about the Youth Day of Service is underlined by Sustainable Development Goals. And so we understand that young people need change and they find expressions in different activities. And so within the Sustainable Development Goals, which by the way is 10 years to 2030, the agenda that was set initially. And by that time, the world will be looking actively at what has been achieved so far. And so for us at LEAP Africa, one of the things that we started doing was to really put the focus on the Sustainable Development Goals and to direct young people's energy, time, creativity, hope towards what we can achieve together. And so last year, when we birthed this idea, we had projects in environment, projects talking about climate, projects talking about the ICT, and so much more in education that were implemented. And this is not different from what we have this year. In 2021, we have gathered more young people. We have more projects this year than ever before that we are going to engage people with from August the 12th to the 18th of 2021. And just to give more context to who is on the table and those people who are with us, we have partnership in the corporate sector, we have partnership in the development sector, those people who have made this year sustainable, those people who have made this year possible, those people that will continue to drive a lot of work to what we can achieve in August 12th to the 18th, when we go live with projects across Africa. And so I'd like to do a couple of mentions: the Cable, Global Shapers, Peace Foundation, Lagos Food Bank Initiative, BRAC, CampFed, Youth Hub Africa, and so many organizations that I cannot read because I'm not wearing my glasses. And so I apologize because I can't really see so many people, but we have many organizations, including JAN, including Donors for Africa, including Bella Naija, Enactors. Many of these organizations and many logos actually have supported this idea when we approach them to circulate the information, turn up the project, even be at the conference today. And so we are delighted to have a couple of you in the room with us because, again, we are very sensitive to the COVID that is still going around. And so this is a multi-sectoral partnership. It's not just a developmental agenda, it's not a developmental program, it's one that goes beyond youth organizations or youth-focused organizations because it's a bigger agenda than that. And so as I wind down my presentation, because I know there'll be opportunities for us to ask more questions and really engage with us, I just wanted to set the goal ahead of us for this year, 2021. This year, we are aiming higher. Yes, this year we are aiming higher, and what success looks like for us is really to impact more than 100,000 beneficiaries executed projects through the projects we execute this year. And so that seems a bit conservative, but we are really aiming for much more than that. We are also aiming to have 1,000 projects, and I'm very happy to say that at this time in July, we have close to 1,000 projects that are registered on the site. And so for many people who are wondering and are hearing about the Youth Day of Service for the first time, this is a call for you to join us and sign up immediately for a project in your community, for one in your state, for one in your country that you can even organize, or one that has been set up by another person. We also have change agents across Africa. We had a lot of events that are happening for this Youth Day of Service, a lot of webinars, Insta stories, and so much more to engage young people on the power of the Youth Day of Service, on the power of volunteering, on the focus of the SDGs, and so much more than that. We also want to have 5,000 volunteers. Last year, we did a couple of things in terms of the milestones that we achieved, but we set the bar higher this year to reach 5,000 volunteers. And the goal is this: if one can reach more, then we can be sure that we can reach more people. And so with 5,000 volunteers, we are sure that we will have more beneficiaries that are impacted by the projects we turn out in environment, in education, in food, in energy, in technology, in sustainable culture development, whatever it is that we have set our agenda on. If you go on the website, you'll be able to see and interact with that. And so, like we said, we expanded the goal for 2021 to include not just Nigeria, but countries outside of Nigeria. And we're very pleased that we already have organizations and countries signed up to the Youth Day of Service for 2021. And so this is our focus. This is what success looks like for us. This is what we are aiming to do. And we don't just want to focus on the numbers. There are reasons for these actions and the agenda that we've set ahead of us. And one of the things that we are hoping to achieve at the end of 2021 campaign, which will end by August 18th, is that we want to see more young people aware of the social development goals. We want to see more young people take up an initiative. We want to see more young people contribute meaningfully. And so a little drop of work or action or step can go a very long way. And so this is me calling on everybody who is in the room, and those of you online, and those of you that will be getting this information even much later than now, to sign up to us at www.ydayofservice.org and register a project and donate. We're still looking for resources to project some of the ideas that have been put forward, and we are calling on you to donate of your time, of your tools, resources, and whatever it is that you are able to. And so it's not an individual thing. As organizations, you can sign up. And so we call on you to, let's work together to activate Youth Agency for the SDGs. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Kehinde Ayeni, for that great overview of Youth Day of Service. So next, we're going to have remarks from our partners. As Kehinde mentioned, Youth Day of Service is powered by Leap Africa, but really driven by many partners across Africa, some of whom are here today, some of whom are virtual. I just want to recognize them once again. We thank the Africa Union for their partnership, Ford Foundation, right, Donors for Africa, Nigerian Union of NGOs, Enactus Nigeria. We have so many partners that I'm not even mentioning, and that came up earlier. So really quickly, we're going to have a few remarks from our partners just to really understand why they are backing this initiative, why they feel it's important to support the youth action for the SDGs. Okay, so we're going to take a video from the Youth Engagement Officer, Simoto Zainabu, of the Africa Union Youth Division, and my colleagues in the media, in the tech.
Commission Youth Division. Let me start by expressing our most sincere appreciation to Leap Africa for organizing this press conference and for extending the invitation to the African Union Commission Youth Division. The African Union Agenda 2063 prioritizes the development and empowerment of Africa's young people. This is why in 2019, the African Union Commission chairperson, His Excellency Moussa Faki, launched the 1 Million by 2021 initiative to catalyze action for youth development and engagement in Africa by providing young people with opportunities in the 4 A's: education, entrepreneurship, employment, and engagement. Our priorities for the AUC Leap Africa collaboration is to celebrate and implement the Youth Day of Service campaign, and it speaks to co-creation of resources to capacitate the young African through skills development. At the African Union Youth Division, we are building a critical mass of young people who are empowered and equipped to solve 21st century skills challenges through the AUC Youth Engagement Strategy, which we call the MOCAP framework. We mobilize young people. We do orientate them and train them through the Youth Empowerment and Developmental Box. We lead conversations, then we activate young people. Small grants for them to take action in their communities, and we have advocacy and partnerships. As we move into the implementation of the Youth Day of Service campaign, the African Union Commission Youth Division is committed to implementing concrete actions for youth engagement. The collaboration between AUC and Leap Africa is very instrumental towards leading and driving sustainable development on the continent. We hope that the Youth Day of Service will create more opportunities and services for young people in the continent.
Starting from this year, we don't want International Youth Day to just be about.
We help them to stay committed in the thematic functions that they all have, because so many functions that NGOs are involved in right now, in not only in Nigeria. We have the education, we have the health, and so many others, climate change and everything. We know what even climate change is talking about in especially around the world and of course in Nigeria. Okay, so we feel that when we support the youth, they're able to get more, there is more inclusion and there is more sustainability, because that is what the theme and the functions and the subject should be about. So we will remain committed so that there is more inclusion and sustainability, which will come to the common man, it will come to the doorstep of every common man in Nigeria, and for the youth to also continue to do volunteerism and they'll be able to bring more social change wherever they are in their communities.
Thank you very much, Olarife, just telling us how young people are very important to us bringing widespread change across Africa. Thank you very much. Next, we're going to take our partner from the much, Simoto, for that address. Next, we're going to now open up for questions. We know that our colleagues from the press are here, so we'd like to take any questions you might have. My colleague Oyinda will be helping facilitate this. Please, if you have a question, please tell us your name, what media outfit you're joining us from, and then just direct your question to any of our partners here. I'd like to recognize from Donors for Africa, Olamide Shifeng. Thank you for joining us this morning. All right. So please, if you have any questions, just indicate by raising your hands, and my colleague will bring the microphone to you. Thank you. Let us know your name and what media outfit you're joining us from.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rebecca Ejifoma from this day. You talked about the situation that challenged the organization to start off this initiative. First, I would like to know that situation. I know you talked about a pandemic, but I want more clarifications. So, who are the beneficiaries of these projects? And I would also like you to list some of the projects that you've done in the past. Thank you.
All right, I think that's Director Ami. Thank you so much for the question. So what led to Leap Africa starting the Youth Day of Service? Leap Africa is a youth leadership development organization. We're all about inspiring, equipping, and enabling young people. And one of the big ethos and principles behind our work is to raise young people who are solving problems. Right? So in all of the other projects that we are known for, our work in education, our work in employability, our work in entrepreneurship, one common trend you find is that even when we're doing regular programming in education or in employment or entrepreneurship, we are preparing young people to see themselves as change agents, as problem solvers, as people that can innovate and address the challenges in the organizations they work in or the organizations they start, and ultimately address problems in society. So that's what we do typically. But we now felt let's find a day where we can really celebrate that, right? We're all about youth. We're all about the possibilities that young people bring and what young people can make happen in the nation and on the continent. Why don't we use a day that has been created to celebrate young people, to celebrate what young people really stand for? So the UN, and the whole world celebrate International Youth Day on August 12th, and we felt, you know what, let that day not just be about talks. Let that day not just be another conference and all the normal things that we always do in the development sector. Why don't we use that day to celebrate through action what young people really stand for? The creativity, the energy, the initiative, the agency, the voice, and the numbers that young people bring, and the possibilities that can make happen for helping Africa to realize its potential. And so that's what really birthed the Youth Day of Service. We've actually always nurtured the idea in the last 2 years, but we actually even canceled. We had planned last year that we're going to do it, and the pandemic hit. But one thing that happened when the pandemic hit was that Leap Africa, as part of our work, we support a lot of social entrepreneurs to work. And what we found was that our community of youth-led organizations that we support and young social entrepreneurs were actively combating the pandemic in their respective communities. I mean, we had people like Lagos Food Bank, one of the alum of Leap Africa, championing food relief services all around Lagos. We had a lot of our young people championing across the nation. And we felt, you know what, this is really what Young Leap Africa stands for. And this is really the narrative. This is really what young people really stand for. Young people are not negatively disruptive. They really want to see change in their community, change in the continent. And it's not just about talk. We have young people doing things. And we thought, you know what, there's no better time to celebrate young people and what they stand for. And that's what the Youth Day of Service is all about. It's about celebrating young people and enabling more young people to champion change in their communities and on the continent at large. I hope that helps. Okay. Yeah, who are the beneficiaries? The larger society, actually. So last year, for instance, was a very small pilot. We had to keep it small and just Nigerian focused because of the pandemic. We had close to 80-something projects, and I think they have that on the screen. You can put that on the screen. But we had school renovations. So we had school renovations, we had relief programs for widows, for women, we had training programs. It's basically cut across the entire 17 goals. We had people do projects that were related to the environment and climate change. So really, the beauty of it is that young people can choose what they're interested in. The areas that they're most passionate about, or the problems that they are touching them the most, and rally themselves towards solving those problems. That's what it's all about. So the beneficiaries cut across women, young people, children, really just cut across the larger society. This year, for instance, out of the projects that are already registered, the hundreds of projects that are already registered, they cut across different issues. We have people working on environment, we have people working on employability, we have people working on healthcare projects, we have people working, for responsible consumption, different kinds of projects, basically. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Femi, Executive Director of Leap Africa. Do we have any other questions? All right. Please tell us your name and organization, and then you can ask a question.
Hello, good morning. My name is Regina Chibuzo. I got interested with youth service from Lagos Food Bank Initiative. Please, I have a question to ask. You spoke about some of the projects. I'm curious. Are there any engineering projects on the power reduction that you have sponsored in the past for any youth?
Okay. Yes. So we have Leap Africa has several parts, but one common thread is that young people are our core focus. One of the programs we've run for the past 7 years is a program called the Social Innovators Program. And what we do with the Social Innovators Program is we find young people who are solving problems in their communities, and we basically just come behind them, help build capacity, help increase their visibility, and help resource them with the help of our partners. So the Social Innovators Program has been running for a number of years. It's a year-long accelerator program for youth-led social enterprises. So in that program, our dear engineer, we have a couple of energy-related projects that we've supported over the years. We have, I can't remember the number. I know we've supported close to 160 social entrepreneurs in the past 60 years. Sorry, in the past 6 years. 60 years. In the past 6 years, 7 years. And I would say at least maybe 6 or 7 of that have been related to energy. Right now, in the present class we have 40 people in the cohort that is presently going on. In that class, we have 10 people, 10 fellows with our partners, Sahara Foundation, who are focused on just energy and environmental projects. So we have EcoBata, we have different kinds of projects that, different kinds of organizations and initiatives that were supported there. So I would say the call for application for the Social Innovators Program is actually open right now. So you might want to look at that. Just Google SIP and put Leap Africa, or just go to Leap Africa's website and go there. You can find the different organizations we've supported in the past. And you can also put in an application if you meet the criteria there. Yeah.
Thank you, Femi, for sharing. So Leap Africa also has the Social Innovators Program, where we are supporting young innovators who want to take their projects further and scale and reach more people. All right, so do we have any other questions? Okay, thank you. Linda, please tell us your name, organization, and then you can direct your question to whoever.
Morning, everyone. My name is HK, and I'm representing Nigerian Youth SDGs. You know, as young people, in most areas, we're being seen as the agent of violence, and which is not true, though. So my question is, in all your programs, because you list out all the things you've been doing, and if you don't have a safe environment, all these things will not strive. So my question is, do you have any project or program on the violence, you know, what's the word again? To have a peaceful environment, like to do away with violence among young people. Yes, like peace building. Thank you.
Thank you so much, JJK, for the question. You know, as an organization, we can't do everything. I will start with that. But our comfort is this, that the young people that we enable can do a lot much more. And that's really our theory of change, that if we inspire, equip, and enable young people, they will tackle the sustainable development challenges. So directly, we don't have any program around security, but there are many ways that our programs contribute to peace building. For instance, we work very heavily in secondary education. If you look at our leadership and life skills curriculum that is being used in several secondary schools in Nigeria and other parts of Africa, you will find peace building as part of those curriculums. So that's one of the ways we contribute. But when I even think back to some other programs that we've run, like the Social Innovators Program that we just talked about, and one other program called the Youth Leadership Program that we run in university, you find very strongly in the curriculum that we use patriotism, you know, peace building, you know, it's part of the civic education and the life skills that we teach. But even in the past, some of the youth organizations we supported, that's their focus. Like I said, we are basically beyond a lot of youth-led, youth-focused organizations who are doing all manner of things, right, across the Agenda 2063 and across the Sustainable Development Goals, right? So that really is what we are focused on. One of our alums, IECRIP, you can check him out, is very big on violence and police brutality and peace building and all of that. So that's one of the organizations we supported in the past. In fact, coincidentally, true to what we are doing with the UD of Service, that project, what has now become an organization, was a project that started, in one of our programs called the Youth Leadership Program. Like I said earlier, one key part of our ways of working is that for every young people we serve, we tell them to give back, we tell them to serve community, we tell them to find something we call a change project and do. So the Youth Leadership Program that we used to run in the past teaches young people on leadership and active citizenship. And at the end of the program, as individuals and in their collectives, they have to solve a problem in their community. And that's actually how the iEquip started. It started just as a change project, just like we're telling young people to start projects in the UD of Service. But once it started that, along with the other people we started, it evolved to become an organization, got a lot of sponsorship and support. And ultimately, I remember 4 years ago, I had to speak at their 10th year anniversary. That's how far Leap Africa has gone, and that's how far initiatives like this go. This year, for instance, we have, some people ask us, they say, why are you just focused on young people implementing change projects within a week? But for us, it's not just about what happens within that week. It's about the possibility. Young people get a taste for something positive. They start volunteering. They put their hands on the plow. And the next thing they're asking is, well, how can I do this consistently and sustainably? What you will find is that some of them find their passion reignited and basically go out of there to do this consistently, and it evolves and evolves into something more sustainable. In fact, right now, we have some of our partners this year who are more focused on people who want to take whatever they start during the UD of Service to the next level. That's their own focus. That's their own focus. They want to provide resources and say, you know what, we want people who start a project during the UD of Service who want to find a way to continue it and sustain it. So for us, that's really the message. AGK, thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any more questions? Okay. Please, your name, organization, and then your question.
Good morning. My name is Kendi Barat. I want to invite that. I want to ask you a question. There are some youths are dropped out in school. What is your organization thinking about this? They are youth too.
Yes.
And they don't have access to all this. What is your organization doing? And secondly, you have been doing this thing for the past 6 years. What is the new thing that you're expecting this year?
Thank you so much, Mr. Kende from Vanguard. So 2 questions. You asked, what are we doing? What does Leap Africa do for opportunity youths? That's what we call them, or community-based youths. People who are not necessarily in school, are not in any employment. They're just in that wait mood. Good question. And the second question was, what are we expecting differently this year, right? So the UD of Service that brought us here, let me start with the second question. The UD of Service that brought all of us here together today is actually in the second year. The one you're referring to that has been running for 6 years is the Social Innovators Program, right? So what are we expecting differently this year in the UD of Service? There are some common things that we expect. I think the major thing is increased scale, right? So last year, we had a very good run. In the midst of the pandemic, despite all the constraints, we decided that, let's go for this, right? And within the 1 month that we went towards before the International Youth Day, that we decided to go for this. We had close to 80 projects across like 16 states in Nigeria. Well, here we are right now. We're not even anywhere near August, but we already have much more than those numbers of projects already registered on the platform, udofservice.org, right? And we even have more volunteers than we even had last year already registered. So we have close to, I think, 2,000 volunteers already, and over 245 projects already registered on the platform. And our media activity, like see right now, is just about to take a new level and become even more amplified. So for us, the real thing we want this year is an increased engagement of young people, not just in Nigeria, across the continent. Right now, we have projects in how many countries? 12 African countries. And the goal is to have more. As this media and social media engagement pick up, right? So for us, it's about increased engagement, increased visibility for all of our partners, increased numbers of projects, increased number of volunteers, and basically increased number of beneficiaries. I think that's the major thing we're thinking of. And for us, the second thing is we want the message to go beyond that week, right? Just like I said, we want more young people to get a taste for social change and see how they can be more be valuable contributors moving forward. Now, for the opportunity youth that you talk about, my response is similar to what I answered the first time. We've had some programs in the past to directly reach out to those young people. But one of the ways we work in Leap Africa, like I said, is we work with other people that are working on these kind of things. So for instance, let me give you an example. 3 years ago, one of the programs Leap Africa runs is something called Lead the Way. I don't want to be calling too many names of programs because we are here for Youth Day of Service. But Lead the Way serves young people out of school, right? They might be in school, but they are out of school. We run those kind of programs. Lead the Way was actually focused on privileged kids, but we now took the Lead the Way program and ran it with 5 other organizations who were serving opportunity youths, those who you are describing, those who are out of school. So we ran that in partnership with, I think, Act Foundation and 5 other community-based organizations who are serving those kind of young people. 2 years ago, we had a program with the Ministry of Youth. We ran a youth leadership masterclass where the Ministry of Youth wanted us to reach out, help to strengthen the capacity of organizations that were serving this kind of young people. So we brought them into our office, ran a bit of capacity building, gave them access to our curriculum, and give them materials to go and serve those young people. So that's one of the ways we serve them. So you might not necessarily find us running direct programming for them, but through the youth organizations that we work with, whether through the capacity we've built or through the resources we provided, or for more closely related projects like our Social Innovators Program. So let me even use Social Innovators Program as a classical way by which we serve opportunity youth. We have fellows, and we call them fellows. We serve organizations who serve all manner of interest. So our Social Innovators Program, we work with organizations like Dream from the Slum. I don't know if you know Dream from the Slum. Isaac serves young people, the people you are describing, in Ajegule. That's all he's doing. He's helping young people and solving young people. He has a center in Ajegule. And Leap Africa, over the past 5 years, has been working with Isaac, right? We met Isaac when he didn't have the center he had right now. And Isaac came on our 1-year programming, where we basically trained him, gave him access to several other partners who gave him money, right? And also brought more visibility to Isaac's work, Dreams for the Slum. And Isaac, over the past 5 years, has grown in his capacity and his ability to serve community-based youth and opportunity youth. Do you understand? So that's a practical example of one of the ways that Leap Africa helps young people in communities. We know we cannot be everywhere. There are many people. We have, what's her name? Aspilos Foundation working in Sokoto, Abuja, similar thing. We have Rudef working in Calabar, in Delta, right? So we work with other youth organizations who are closer to these people and want to serve these people. And basically, that's one big model that we want to even amplify, because we can't be everywhere, right? But we want to be behind youth, amplifying their voice, amplifying their abilities, amplifying their creativity, amplifying their energy. And that's what the Youth Day of Service 2 is all about, actually. Same thing, but different names and different platforms. Yeah, thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Femi Taiwo, ED Leap Africa. So as you've heard, the Youth Day of Service again is amplifying the voices of young people. So we are bringing this event to a close, but once again, I want to recognize our partners all across from Africa. So you can see our partners displayed there. We have Christie's Foundation, a very key and important partner to us. We have CAMFED in Ghana and Malawi partnering with us. We have BRAC Uganda in Uganda partnering with us. You have it there, Lagos Food Bank, well represented here. We have Mama Money, we have the cable, and we have many other partners, as you can see. And also to our media partners, we say a big thank you. Thank you very much for joining us today. With that, we're going to take closing remarks from Femi Taiwo, Executive Director of Leap Africa, and then we'll have opportunities for one-on-one interviews after.
All right, I think I think it's a little better to hear from everybody at the table. Just quickly, closing remark from everyone, especially because Donors for Africa is not your opportunity of speaking. You could just talk a bit more about your organization and very quickly, because we're wrapping up, and how you're interfacing with the Youth Day of Service, right? And maybe what you do normally and how you're interfacing with the Youth Day of Service. Yeah.
Thank you. All protocol duly observed. My name is Shuken Yolarudi.
and I'm representing Donors for Africa Foundation. Okay, so Donors for Africa is a non-profit, but we're based in connecting solutions to, or I put it, giving solutions to challenges facing non-profits across Africa. That's great to funding, strategic planning, donor engagement. We cut across all aspects of non-profits. So for the Youth Day of Service, Donors for Africa
Lagos. So we have programs that are focusing on these three parts that I mentioned. And we, so far, since 2016, we've been able to reach over 1.5 million people in 120 communities in Lagos. And we work with partner organizations to carry out these projects. So Lagos Food Bank is going to be focusing on food relief and food rescue. For the Youth Day of Service, we'll be rescuing food that is supposed to be wasted and also giving to people who are in need of these food items. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. I think for me, it's just thank you to everyone represented here, those that are virtual and the many others that are partnering, as you will see on the website and even on the backdrop over there. You know, when we do things like this, one of the statements that comes to mind is a statement by Mother Teresa, where she said that I can do things you cannot, you can do things I cannot, but together we can do great things. And that's what the Youth Day of Service is all about. It's all about collaboration, partnership, many people coming together, you know, to do a lot. You know, in Leap Africa, we believe strongly in the power of one and the strength of many. And that's what Youth Day of Service represents, the power of one youth and the strength of many youth, the power of one organization and the strength of many organizations coming together, the power of one country and the strength of many countries coming together to champion a collective vision, to champion a collective future, to champion a collective possibility, what Africa can be, what our community can be, what our nations can be, and the sustainable development of the same. So thank you so much to all our media partners that are represented here, and all the implementing partners that are here physically and online. And just a quick word out there, August 12th to 18th. August 12th is actually the International Youth Day. And so you'll find a lot of activities on that day and throughout that week up until the 18th. There are still many ways for you to partner and jump in as an individual, as an organization. Reach out to Leap Africa, go to the website, udofservice.org, volunteer for an existing project or champion a project. So you go there, you can click volunteer for a project, or you can just click create a project. And there are many, many interesting things that are in the pipeline that you'll be seeing on social media and in other ways that we communicate. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you to all our guests here, media partners. Thank you to Nigerian Youth SDGs. Thank you to Volunteers of Africa. Thank you to all the partners that we have listed, not even mentioned. Again, once again, to Ford Foundation, the African Union. Thank you to Aspen Network of Entrepreneurs and all the partners who are making Youth Day of Service 2021 possible. And with that, we bring the event to a close. Thank you and safe travels.
Thank you, guys. How's Michael?